We prepare for prayer by closing our eyes and acknowledging the one within, without, and all around, in, through, and as us, by taking that big breath in and holding and letting go. And breathing in even again, together. Releasing. The delight that's in this moment and every moment. The delight in knowing that I know that God is all there is moment is every moment. Every moment that I get to breathe. Every moment that you get to breathe. Every moment that we get to breathe. Acknowledging the oneness that God is. That is pure harmony, pure joy, pure beingness, pure wisdom. It's in this awareness that I know that unity consciousness exists, where indeed that 1 + 1 is not 2 but 11, as we are gathered here together this morning for a divine purpose of gathering together in ease and grace and harmony, to be, to do, to have more than we had a moment before. More in the learning, more in the intaking, more in the breath being just exactly what each of us needs to hear and what each of us needs to share and listen and truly listen to. So I know I'm in the right place at the right time for the right reasons, and I believe in unity we all are by this divine appointment. For this beautiful service and the way it's run so accurately and so beautifully, thanks to Adrian, who is also a spiritual practitioner of renown. And thanks to all of us who take a part in every Sunday service, because we love the roles that we take on, because we do want this world to be the world that works for all, and we are a microcosm of that. That's that I get to feeling. That is such a blessing of being a part of the Centers for Spiritual Living Beaumont. And this morning I know that with Reverend Marianne here, by her divine appointment and her joy in being who she is and what she does, knowing the truth of her life, sharing with us this morning, and her words, that I know she is that vessel where God is in, through, and as Reverend Marianne, giving us exactly what we need and want. I feel totally blessed to be here in this role this morning, and I thank you. So you and I can affirm and aver by saying, and so it is.
At Center for Spiritual Living Beaumont, we believe in spiritual living. Above all else, it is a philosophy that teaches us how to think and not what to think. We invite everyone to practice this philosophy by living in principle. We believe that God is all there is, and each person's relationship to God is a personal one. Every person, place, and thing, and all the space in between is not only an expression of God, but God itself. All love, peace, and beauty that is God exists within each person right now. Together we are all connected as one. Our faith allows us to apply this philosophy to our lives in every moment of every day. As we live in love, we see love revealed and flowing through the world around us. We act as citizens of this spiritual community at all times. This is how we think. We believe in God, we believe in ourselves, and we believe in you, because we believe in spiritual living. We are the Center for Spiritual Living Beaumont.
Good morning. Going to move a few of these things aside, and my goodness, between Clarissa's prayers and invocation and the music, I kind of feel like we already had our lesson, right? So, but we'll play some more. We'll play some more. So today, Our talk is about, here we go, your essential self. Okay? We're saying yes to yes. Y-E-S. Got it? Your essential self, your expression of yourself. Holmes said that the real self is God-given and cannot be denied. That the revelation of the self to the self is the lesson of all lessons. By knowing ourselves, we know God. So spring has sprung, and this month is about creativity. The winter hibernation that was created by the pandemic is dissolving, and the spring is coming forth. But what part will we play in that? How will we be anew after this hibernation? Well, that's what today is all about. It's about creativity and saying yes to that creativity of ourselves. Now, sometimes we think of creativity as being a product. But a product is only the effect of the creative process, right? We have that spirit or inspiration going through the creative medium and resulting in the product. Creativity is the act of expression, creating that. So if it's an act of expression, what are we expressing? Now, I remember years ago, decades actually ago, I gave a talk on creativity because I was doing a series and it was in the series. And so I didn't really have a choice. It was there to do. And I was kind of panicked because I thought, goodness, I don't have a creative bone in my body. I can't paint, I can't sing, I can't draw, I don't play a musical instrument. I don't have a creative bone in my body. And to give a talk, you have to be authentic. You need to talk from your own experience. What am I going to do? What am I going to talk about? I can't even show examples because I have nothing. I had to dig deep. When life demands that we get creative, what happens? We get creative, yes. We get creative. So, yes, I did give the talk, and it was the most creative in the series. So, but that was years ago. And what I realized is that, as we all know, God is creative, right? God is creation. Right? Yeah. And then we know that we are made out of the substance of God. Right? So do we have any choice but to be creative? No. So every thought we have, and we're always creating, we create relationships, right? We create businesses, we create events. There's event planners and things coming up. That's creativity. We're always creating all kinds of things, no matter what we're doing. I had an ex-boyfriend that thought I was too creative. So I unimagined him. So he's gone. So I remember also when I first read Judge Troward, I'd done the Science of Mind classes, but when you read Judge Thomas Troward, he really emphasizes how every thought we have is creative. And that's where Holmes pulled that knowledge, was from Troward. And I thought, oh my gosh, every single thought I have is creative? I'm in trouble. Fortunately, all of those thoughts in our head, a lot of them are contradictory, right? I would love to have a relationship, but I also like my freedom and to go where I want, when I want, and how I want. I would love to have a new car, but I don't really want to spend any money because, I don't want to spend any money. And I would love to be rich, but rich people are selfish and greedy, and I don't want to be selfish and greedy. So we have all of these conflicting thoughts. So consequently, what we create is pretty random, unless we focus. And what do we want to focus on? What do we focus on? Do we focus on what we're not creative about, or on all the limitations that we have set for ourselves? Well, Barry Herman, in this wonderful little book, if you've never read it, it's called Noble Purpose. And you can see it's very small, but very powerful. Barry Herman says that, we get born as our true essential selves and creative, but through life, we start to learn some rules, and we start to protect ourselves from getting hurt, from being vulnerable, from feeling stupid or weird, or there's a song that's really popular on The Voice, I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo, and some of us all feel like that inside. Hopefully nobody notices, but so we start to protect ourselves. But what happens when we start to protect ourselves? We create this shell around our essential self, our true self. We become bounded by all these limitations. And when we become bounded, we start to take away that creativity that is actually who we are, the essence of who we are. Now, a couple of weeks ago, on a Wednesday night service, we did a little exercise, and I had everyone think about areas they thought they were not creative in. So, first person says, well, when I take all the shelves out of the refrigerator to clean them, I can't figure out how to put them back. And I said, well, is that creativity or is that following rules? Exactly. So that wasn't creativity at all. And the next person said, I can't bake. I love to cook, but I can't bake. And it turns out, well, I don't like following the rules in baking. So it wasn't that she couldn't, it's that she didn't enjoy it because it didn't allow for her creativity. So the next person said, I have this thing, and I have to look up the name of it. What's it called again? Oh, aphantasia. Aphantasia, it's a scientific term for I don't know if you'd call it a disease or a limitation that we put on ourselves that says, I can't visualize. So this person says, I can't visualize, and I have that. And someone else in the group said, oh yeah, I've heard of that, you can't visualize. Well, this person who said he can't visualize is a writer and a comedian. And every time he opens his mouth, all of the rest of us have all kinds of visualizations. So I thought that's an interesting limitation you just placed on yourself or allowed somebody else to do that, because there's visions all over the place when you can't see a sentence without it. And the last person is going through chemotherapy. And he said, I just can't seem to get well. And I can't seem to do the things I want. I have this, thing I could do, but this clutter's in the way, and I have this to do, and this is in the way, and I have this to do, and I want a date exactly when I'm going to be well. And we said, well, can you turn that over to the practitioners in the room? Well, I don't know, the doctors are not giving me the date. Can you turn this over? So There was the limitation. And is this a real thing? It was a choice of what to focus on. So we're still working on that person to let go and let the practitioners hold the vision. So thank goodness for Science of Mind teachings, right? That teach us that we can make other choices, that we are all creative. So I no longer panic when I have a talk about creativity. We can create together. Parker Palmer says, "What a long time it can take to become the person one has always been. Before we discover our deep identity, the true self within every human being that is the seed of the authentic vocation." Isn't that true? You know, a lot of us, I'm not sure about you, I know myself, when I came to Science of Mind, I had to unlearn all of those things that I had learned to protect myself. I had learned it pretty well. I mean, I think I got born kind of weird. And remember as a 1.5 years old, sitting there on the floor watching my siblings run around crazy, taking each other's toys and going, I don't think this is what we're supposed to do. But then over life, you learn to do what everybody expects you to do and succeed. And I did pretty good at that. And then it's taken years, the last couple decades, to unlearn some of that or to learn who's in control. You know, there's rules and then there's breaking the rules. So when we're saying yes to yes, we're saying yes to ourselves, regardless of how foolish we might seem to somebody else. You know, we may get up and do something and you know, people will laugh. But humor's good, right? Humor is really good. In fact, they say that, you know, humor is, Wikipedia says that creativity is associated with divine inspiration, mental illness, and humor. All of it outside the box, right? You know, I think some mental illness it's fortunate because you don't have to conform. You know, you can do whatever you want and people just go, and there's TV shows, well, you know, if you just act crazy, they leave you alone, you can do whatever you want. So it's associated with all those things that are outside of the box. And looking at humor and speaking outside the box, I taught a writing class to in a women's prison. You might ask how that one went. It had its pros and cons. So when we say yes to yes, we're kind of breaking that perspective, because that's all humor really is changing your perspective on the mundane things in life. So that's all the creativity is allowing yourself to change that perspective. So if you're not a painter, maybe you want to go to a cheese and wine painting party. If you've ever been to those, they're fun. If you're not a writer, start a blog. One of my brothers, Vincent, is challenged, and he didn't go to college or anything. He barely finished high school, and he lives out on a ranch in the boonies or whatever, and people look at him that he is challenged. He is a little bit. He started a blog. An amazing thing, because he is so authentic. He has no filters, and he just writes. Well, I got up this morning and a squirrel ran across my door. And, you know, the bird was over here, and the dog was doing this, and that, and it is just so refreshing to read, because it's so authentic. You can put yourself there with him. because he is being so authentic and true. So that's what creativity gives us. Now we have laws, spiritual laws, and natural laws, and we know that laws are laws and that we can't get around them. Spiritually, we talk about peace and harmony and beauty and love. And natural laws are like gravity. Gravity is the same for all of us. And we can use it if we learn how to use it. It's just like in a paint. You know, if you mix blue and red, you're going to get purple. And it doesn't matter who you are, you're going to get the purple. So if we use laws for our creativity, we can expand and be more creative. There's lots of rules in our life, but laws are givens and rules are man-made. We make up rules, again, to protect ourselves. If you think about just about every rule we have, even traffic rules, were designed to protect. If we all lived by principle, which is law, we wouldn't need any rules, right? We create rules because we forget to live by principle. So rules are the same thing. If you learn a rule and you figure out what it's for, rules are made to be broken. With education, they're made to be broken. We can color outside the lines and do something beautiful. So we don't need to worry so much about every rule and exactly how it has to look. We can say yes to yes, your essential self, and realize that we are partnering with God and co-creating this life around us, everything around us. We can deal with the random thoughts going back and forth and our effects, what we create are random, or we can co-create with God and stay focused that we are co-creating with God and be much less random in what we create. There's a story about an eagle. So a farmer went to the woods, take a walk, and he decided he wanted to capture this little bird that was there. This little bird happened to be an eagle. So he took this eagle and he brought it home and he put it in the chicken yard. And he fed it chicken feed. And so this eagle was with all the chickens, eating chicken feed, wandering around with the chickens. And yes, it grew and grew for, had a wingspan of, 6 feet. And, but it still just wandered around with the chickens. And then about 5 years later, the farmer had a visitor. And then they were walking around the area. And the visitor said, "Wait a second. That's an eagle over there." And the farmer said, "Yeah, but he thinks he's a chicken, and he might as well, he's a chicken." And the visitor, he was kind of a naturalist, and he goes, "No, he's an eagle." He goes, I'll bet I could get him to fly." Farmer goes, "I don't think so." So the naturalist visitor takes the eagle, picks him up, and kind of fly. The eagle kind of just sits there and hops down on the ground, still thinking he was a chicken. So the visitor goes away and he comes back again and he goes, I'm convinced he'll figure it out. So he takes the eagle again and he takes him out into the woods area and he goes, "Fly." And the eagle doesn't do anything. So on the third visit, the visitor comes back and he takes the eagle and he stands out in the open area and fly. And he shows the eagle the sun and a breeze comes by and the eagle lifts his wings and flies away and never returns. So sometimes it takes a little bit extra to remember who we are. It may not come immediately. So what can we do, Barry Heerman says, again, my wonderful little book, when you are powerfully connected with your essential self as an adult engaged in the world, the miraculous can occur. The unattainable is suddenly within reach, allowing you to achieve extraordinary results that surprise and delight. Incredible capacities are unleashed when you are powerfully connected with your essential self. Your effectiveness far exceeds mere reliance on skills, education, and conventional intelligence. The seemingly impossible becomes possible. So where do we go from here? Well, we can do things like go home and rearrange the furniture just to get out of the box. We can eat dessert first. I think a lot of people like that one. We can pick an object in our household and use it for something different. Think about that. If you had a spatula, what else could you use that for? A shovel? What? Reach something high. We can use it as a flag. All kinds of things. We can, let's see, what else can we do? Buy some finger paints and paint a picture of yourself. Okay. Mix up your wardrobe and wear patterns with stripes and flowers with stripes. Make a gift for someone. And know they'll love it. You can write in your journal and turn your day into a comedy. You write in your journal at night about your day. Turn your day into a comedy. And you can also take the challenge of sitting at lunch with somebody and telling them where you think you are not creative. And let them tell you what they think. So there are lots of things to do like that. We can all be creative. We can say yes either to the rules, our own mental equivalent, our limitations, or our cultural limitations. So many people, they grow up. I had a friend that grew up and he said, my parents would say, yeah, they can do these things, those people over there, but we don't do that. They can have those things, but we don't. So we can break loose of those also. And go, well, why not? Ask yourself every time you think of a limitation, why? Is that truly the truth? What if it weren't the truth? And try something new. Because we can say yes to the limitations, or we can say yes to your essential self, your expression of self, and that's self with a capital S. So I invite you this week to take some time and have fun with it. Every day, at least once a day, do one of these things. Pick up an object that you pick up every morning and go, what else could I do with this thing today? Write that journal at night. Have lunch with a friend and play with each other back and forth. Try something new. Thank you. So let's take this into prayer. Okay. Yes, let's take this into prayer, because we know that prayer is just an expression of our true selves. Prayer is our alignment with the divine inspiration. So we know that God is. God is creativity. And as God is creativity, I am creativity. I am creative. I am an expression of creativity abound. And I am so grateful for knowing that this is me. This is my true nature. To wander around this planet expressing all over the place, expressing my essential self all over the place. The world needs my expression, and I give it gladly, in gratitude. For as God is expressing, God expresses through me as me. This is the truth, and I am grateful for my awareness of it. And so it is.
Thank you for Sunday service. Please remember to like, comment, and share this video on Facebook, YouTube, and any other social media you are a member of. To donate to CSL Beaumont, you can text GIVE to 951-420-6909, or you can visit our website at cslbeaumont.org and click the donate button at the top or bottom of the page. You can also mail your donation to CSL Beaumont, 802 Maple Avenue, Beaumont, California, 92223. Have a blessed day.